Hello, welcome to Disruption Forum Future of Retail. We've got a packed agenda today, and I'd like to thank all of our fantastic speakers for joining us today. It's great to have you online on our stage. So we're going to hear from a couple of really fantastic experts from companies like Wolt, Vestiaire Collective, Vinted, Talabat, Just Eat Takeaway, Breakfast, Carrefour, and Snunu. Retail is moving really fast today, and we're going to take a closer look at the most promising directions. So you can expect conversations about quick commerce, supermarketplaces, AI, and generative AI, of course. And having said that, we're going to start with some essentials, and that is how to source innovative ideas in the first place. And here with me, I have Catalina Salazar, Global Head of Advertising at Wolt, and Paul Ladevèze, VP of Product Design and User Research at Vestiaire Collective. And I am Agata from Netguru, an innovation consultant and client partner. So have a great time, everyone. And here we go with our first panel session. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Agata. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm very curious to hear how this conversation evolves between us. And to start with, I'd like to ask you to briefly share how innovation fits in your respective fields. You come from different places in your organizations, advertising and product design. How do you lead innovation? Catalina, you can go start.
Great. I was waiting to hear who was going to go first. First of all, thank you so much, guys, for this time and space. I really appreciate being able to share with you today a little bit of how we do innovation at Wolt. I'm Catalina. I lead Wolt Ads, our merchant and brand advertising solution across 27 markets where Wolt operates. And my role is about creating solutions that allow merchants and brands to connect with consumers in a more personalized, efficient, and impactful way. And for me, leading innovation in this role is constantly challenging what we're doing, like what's the result that we're getting to today, and how we can make these results better, how we can make our products smarter, what are the challenges that our merchants and brands are posing in these QBRs, weekly meetings, what are the things that we're not resolving every day, and that, like, getting that curiosity in ourselves and in our team is how we are able to create or like have those spaces for innovation and for driving new things in what we do.
All right. How is it fall with you guys?
Yeah, glad to be here as well. Just to say a word about Vestiaire Collective, because maybe some of our audience members don't know us so much. So we are a marketplace for second-hand fashion, so pre-loved items for more luxury or high-end designers. So we have products, to help you find, sell, and buy the products you want. So leading design and research, my role is to craft the best experiences we can with innovative ideas or even brilliant basics so users can find products or sell products. But at the same time, we cannot do it without understanding the users and the consumers. So research is key to understand, and we'll talk about it, during this chat, to fuel innovation for me, because I don't think innovation in a vacuum without understanding the users makes sense. And that's what is important. So my role is to identify opportunities, try to see how to solve them, and also ensure, we always say ideas come from anywhere, but you have to extract them or communicate them well and make them circulate among a company. So I'm trying also to animate workshops and make sure this innovation circulates, among all the teams.
Yeah. And that's a very interesting point, because it's hard to innovate if you don't know where you're starting from, right? And this is exactly where user research then gives you this starting ground, right?
Yeah, I mean, recently, if I want to be sassy, I can talk about the glasses from Meta, the Orion glasses. These very bulky glasses are
Yeah.
allow you to do AR, to play games, to do some social stuff. I remember 2011 when the Google glasses came out. That was kind of very innovative from a technological point of view, but it didn't find its audience. So now I'm being sassy and French a bit. I'm like, will it really work? Will it be a big fail? I cannot help but being skeptical. Maybe it's my DNA. But yes, I think what is the need from the user here? Do people need to have an augmentation on their face, even if they don't wear glasses, to do something they do today with the screen? So for us, it's a bit the same. We're not trying to push innovation down users. We're first trying to listen to their need. We're also users. We're not building rocket science and rocket. We're making an e-commerce fashion website, so we're more or less all also consumers. But we're trying to get to the bottom of what are their problems, what are the pain points, what are the desires, and to try to mix the user needs and the business needs, which is always the dichotomy you have to do in e-commerce. So listening to these pain points, drilling down to understand them better is what we do with research and design. And after mixing it with data to kind of give them a sense of weight, because the problem of a user John may not be the problem of a user Bob, and you have to kind of filter out and decide what is the most important. So you need data and insights for me to start, having a direction of where you need to innovate and what you need to innovate on.
You mentioned technical perspective on innovation, and that leads me to my next question. What is really the definition of innovation in retail, in e-commerce? How do you guys, Catalina, I'm really curious about your perspective here. How do you define innovation in advertising?
I completely agree. No matter the industry, I agree with what Paul just said. It's really the convergence of the data, the technology, but also the customer experience. It's like getting all these three things to meet in the center and think what is a really good solution for the problems that our customers are facing, or things that they would like to do that we're not offering. In the world of retail media, I think the biggest kind of shift we've seen with innovation is how first-party data became so important and an asset for many of the retailers, and how we leverage this data for that omni-channel experience with consumers are moving between online and offline. And, we're now using retail media networks to drive even awareness, which was previously done through other channels. So it's like how retailers have now become another media opportunity for brands, and how it enables the consumer movement throughout, that journey, online and offline. And I think it's how we create these connected, personalized experiences that are real value to both the customer who's being exposed to these messages, but also for the people who are trying to connect with those audiences. So I think, it's been a lot of change. Now they call it the new digital revolution, the whole retail media rise. I'm super experienced to be part of this new wave.
Would you say that this is the biggest shift that you notice in retail?
Yes, I think this opportunity of anyone who owns a database, a large enough database, to create a media opportunity and to create these omni-channel experiences is really, for me, what's been incredibly big in the last few years.
Yeah. And Paul, when I think about fashion, not that I do own a lot of high-end fashion items, but if I were to buy one, it would be difficult for me to imagine I'm going to do it online. Like, it seems like it's an experience you want to have, touch it, feel it, it's how does this translate into a digital experience? And is there a shift that you notice in this fast changing world right now?
Yes, I mean, there were changes, but at the same time, I've designed experiences in 2010, for Tag Heuer or Old Paris e-commerce or Lacoste, and some fundamentals have not changed. Browsing catalogs, grids of products, find the one you want, filtering down things, looking at a product, zooming on images or sometimes videos, looking at colors when it's fashion. So some fundamentals have not changed, and others are changing. What you're talking about is buying first hand. It's so the brands have all the assets. They can shoot the products. They can make videos of people wearing the products to see the fit and whatnot. For second hand marketplaces, it's even a bit harder because our content is made by users in most cases. We got some items we curate ourselves from our warehouses, but users take photos of their item, and so they're not all fashion designers or graphic designers, so they take a photo on their kitchen table. So how do we make sure the quality is there to inspire you to find the right things? So there are even more challenges. But I would say, despite companies having pushed, I buy online quite a lot, and I end up, taking a measuring tape and measuring my shoulders and my body parts to make sure the garment will fit when it's a first-hand one or even second-hand one. I think no one has solved it. People try to have like augmented reality fits with clothes, but you need to, on the clothes, have a studio with 3D photos and stuff, or to show you images, videos. No one has really solved the size and the fit kind of perception. So no one has replaced the brick and mortar stores, but it's still a huge market buying first-hand clothes, and the second-hand market will be 25 billion, in a few. So it's growing. So people are doing it, even if there is risk. People are lacking trust about the sellers, the companies. Also, we're also working on helping them finding the right garments, and also the trust around it that you would have if you buy it at a store and you can physically bring back your item, for example. So we have to work on all of this to make it happen. So there are few areas of possible innovation we have to work on.
All right. So when you mentioned those few areas, we talked about data, we talked about user and research and value of that. And then you have it. But of course, when you have it, innovation can still happen in so many different directions, and you can get inspired from so many different sources. And I'm curious, how do you have methods or strategies within your teams to actually source those inspirations that can then grow into innovative ideas?
And you want to go? Yeah. After you.
That's fine. For us, I think it's super important to build this culture of curiosity, as I said at the beginning. And I really encourage our teams to have this cross-functional collaboration. Sometimes the challenges come from different, people in the team. Maybe it's a CRM manager that has an issue with how emails are, the response rate of emails, or maybe we're not seeing the right engagement on our marketing campaigns. So perhaps the sales teams are getting a lot of pushbacks in certain elements of our product. And when I find that I make, those people tell their stories and their challenges to people from different functions like product, sales, operations, having that different perspective from other people in the team, and like all trying to resolve, usually get us, really good ideas. And we've had really good experience getting solutions to different problems for people who didn't even work in those teams. So having that, different perspectives in the team, having, different cultures, a well-balanced team as well, always results in people being able to brainstorm and share insights and get innovation and things that we didn't think before. So for us at Voltax, that really, really helps. And also partnering externally, like listening to what the competitors are doing, what other like media providers are working on, is usually also helpful to see if any of those ideas make sense for us to take and adapt and or find like even a better way of doing things. So I think those two things really worked for us.
And for the knowledge sharing or experience sharing internally, do you have rituals around this? Is it like an established practice?
It happens weekly. So we have forums where we bring everyone from different disciplines just to see how the business is doing and to have this brainstorming. And people know that no matter which area of the business they come from, they can sit down and offer their point of view, the solution. And then we keep that like track of the issues and people can comment those things. Usually helps a lot getting like these weekly forums where people have freedom to share.
All right, that's great. And Paul, how about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I second what Catalina was saying. First, I think there is no, sorry for those who are waiting for a book name or like a website to go to or something. I think it's more mindset first and curiosity. I think it's the way you put it clearly. I would preach for my people and say, if you're trying to build innovation, hire creatives or designers, not because the ideas come from us, but because we've got the tool and the cooking recipes to make it happen. Because, you know, to unlock creativity, which is in everyone, you can have great ideas from a legal department, from an engineer, from any part of the company. You have to kind of create the culture and have little rituals to do it. So, for example, for us, you know, we have a roadmap for the year or the semester or the quarters we work on, and we're trying to work against opportunities, but we work on it, you know, the year prior. And we are trying to leverage workshops to do this. So we organize workshops starting from the user needs, or might we notes, if you know, if some people know the exercise, and we walk our way down towards the solutions. But first we start with the opportunities, and we have groups where we ideate, smaller groups, you know, and so we have these rituals. There are little rules and tips to make this workshop happen. It's not 30 stakeholders of XCOM level. It's more smaller groups of 8, you know, and having all these rituals powered by the creative or animated by the creative has also helped us a lot to kind of go there. After innovation happens when you start having the ideas, and innovation happens when you actually craft and define what the how is. So when you go there, and so there are touch points, different methods and tools. For me, it's almost kind of cooking tips more than a process and than a book you can follow.
Okay, and so I'm going to challenge this a little bit. Of course, I love all those approaches, but then I'm going to use reality to challenge this a little bit, because the reality in which we find ourselves very often is that, okay, we have, you know, a roadmap, we have a plan, we have deliverables, we have, you know, things that we want to, you know, releases and features that need to get out there, right? How do you actually find space to fail? Because I imagine not all the ideas that you come up with are going to be successful ones. Otherwise, everybody would be constantly innovative, right? And so is there really room, space, and time for experimentation and failure?
Yeah, that can be a challenge when you have like really tight deadlines and you have a roadmap to deliver 100%. But I think it has to be part of the culture. And I think in my team, I try to really balance that and tell people it is okay. Like, we can launch that campaign that you spend time on. And if it's not working, like, do not feel that that's the end of the world, or you're going to be having a really poor evaluation, or you need to learn really quickly and you need to come to our weekly session and tell us, guys, it's not working. And like, I suggest X, Y, and Z, and we can iterate. And we learn really quickly. Like, it's the first year that we are active with Wolt ads, and we've done a couple of things already that didn't really work. Like, for example, aligning our marketing calendar to some big campaigns ended up being like 80 hours of work with like 5 leads. But you need to kind of create that culture where people feel that you can be live, you can be with a product that is not functional, but it's okay to say it's not working and I need to take a step back and like really come up with how can I fix it. It can be costly, but it really builds learning, and you need to create that culture of learning building, so you don't make the same mistake 3 times, which I think is what's going to be even worse, right? So it is okay to fail really fast. It is okay to take a step back and redesign and rethink. And it is not okay if that mistake gets made twice. So I think that's how we kind of handle it internally. I wish I had my team here. They can show you some great examples of things that hadn't, gone well for us in many areas. Taking that step back, and they always feel bad, obviously, that things didn't go as planned. But we're in a world where iteration has to happen to get to the right product.
It's a product culture. So the digital between quote product culture is kind of young at the scale of humanity. And it's built with that, the issue of startups and scale-ups is you got more ideas than you can implement. So it puts you in a mode where you have to prioritize and decide. So our issue that we have, the idea we didn't have, is like more to prioritize ideas. So all our processes are made to fail fast or to try to see where we're going in the right direction. So we try to prioritize opportunities and not solution, which is very hard from a human perspective, because you always get attached to solutions more than an opportunity. For example, instead of solving for the user to pain point to find their garments, you have a solution in mind with ARs, and you are attached to it. It's kind of human nature. But we are trying to have processes that help us filter out. So we first go with data and insights. Then we build things, we prototype, and we show it to users very quickly. That you can do in advertising and marketing as well, to make sure it fits, it works, it's desired. And then we always do A/B tests before really delivering. So we show in production to the users 1 or 2 versions, or sometimes more, to try to see if it works, if it fails. But also, when we know it's going to work, sometimes we kind of know by how much it works, because we need to learn. So even when we fail fast, we fail first. We don't want to reproduce the issue, as you mentioned, but also we want to learn something, because if we fail, we need to know why. We need to learn something for the next time. So sometimes we even know something will fail, but we have to understand by how much, to understand exactly where it failed. So but we're still trying to avoid it. I would say I are still putting things in place to try to get to the truth versus failing fast. And we'll see. I'm still trying to put experience and insights in the mix to go faster to the solution versus failing twice in the way.
I will want to say something as well on that. We have a budget to ask merchants and partners how they feel about the things we're about to launch. So in our marketing team, we have meetings and we incentivize that time spent with us to give us some feedback, and that's helped a lot. Not make mistakes when we're like launching a product, or like, is the name right? People understand what we're trying to tell them. Is it really answering their issues? Like, do they feel that they understood what we're trying to do? And is it helping them? So that's something that I appreciate. It was an idea from the team to have this budget, so we can have these teams of partners we can ask questions to, and that has helped a lot with those go-to-market strategies that can be tested before failing.
So a way to balance bold ideas with some data-driven reality, right? You also mentioned, Paul, as the importance of data and user feedback. So I want to look ahead a little bit right now and ask you about what kind of trends or technologies you believe will drive retail innovation in the next couple of years. You mentioned, Paul, you said, there is this Meta glasses. Do users need it? We don't know really. But maybe you have gut feelings about something out there.
There are things happening. I mean, first, I know we've been talking about AI for a little while, but it's innovation still because it's happening right now. So all recommendations on the websites and platforms are becoming smarter. Now they know better to recognize a garment with pink flamingos and associated with something else. So we're doing image recognition for this. We're trying to help people list better by recognizing the photo of their bag to associate with a Vuitton model and know the sizes before and facilitate their life. So we are implementing all these things. That's still innovation of in AI. So we're gonna still have a few things to do for the 3 years, 4 years to come on this for many companies. Then when we look further in our area, the grail would be to kind of recognize garments in a snap, and just list them this way. So some companies are working on digital ideas. Chloe, our partner, the luxury brand, has RFID tags in some of their new collection garments. Gucci is exploring this as well with QR codes or RFID tags, where your phone can instantly recognize the item and also have a traceability to avoid counterfeit merchandise and stuff. So that would be great, but until everyone does it, you cannot do it for 10% of the garments. So the future of it would be glasses or your phone, where you can scan your wardrobe and it recognizes all your items, or it's plugged with your e-commerce and it already gets all your purchases. So you kind of have all your items in the cloud already, and selling and buying would be very easy. That would be kind of the dream, but it's still not there yet. So
Yeah. Catalina?
I think for me, super interesting, and it's a little bit of a conceptual thought, I guess.
Mhm.
I worked all my life in media and agencies, and the cornerstone of everything we do is segmentation and archetypes, personas. Just trying to define who this person is. And for me, this whole AI machine learning revolution is proving that, like, as much as you want to create these personas, these segments, everyone's so unique, and the choices they're making online are equally unique. So trying to shoehorn personalities and archetypes seems just like it's getting like a little outdated. And now it's so interesting to see how machine learning and personalization based on machine learning is uncovering insights about people much faster and much better. So things that might make absolute no sense to you as a marketer because you didn't see it coming, the data it now shows you that is a pattern or like something that is happening. I remember when I worked in London a couple of years, and AI was like at the beginning of the craze. How we were running this campaign for an airline, and all of a sudden our ads were optimized through AI, and they started appearing in like dental websites.
Okay.
And turns out it was because there was a huge conference of dentists in the US. So the technology was able to perceive this pattern
Yeah.
and get it. And like, I would have never in my life like imagined that
Yeah,
kind
of
of
course.
relationship. And I think that's beautiful. Like the fact that we get to understand people as people, not as buckets of, conditions, and that we can offer personalized, really add value to their lives through solutions and the messages and the creative and the products that we're putting in front of them. Thus gaining, results for those brands that want to find, those pockets of opportunity is super interesting. And I think technology and AI and machine learning will be day-to-day life of everyone working digitally. And to put a product in front of someone, you will require to have this deep understanding of the consumers.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. We are slowly heading towards the end of our conversation, and I would like to end it on a bit of a crazy note, maybe, and ask you about if you could have one idea that is completely out there. There's no technological limitations. A dream for retail, for the future, for the most innovative thing that you can come up with. What would it be? What do you think would be, the most wonderful innovation in your areas?
I already went a bit there in my previous answer talking about the wardrobe digitization.
Yeah.
But I think if we can set that aside, I can find another one. As I said before, I think no one has really solved. It was the problem you were mentioning, how a garment will fit and the size. I don't know if it's augmented reality or not, because there are kind of virtual mirrors or other things that have been explored. But if we can find a way to really have people know exactly how a garment would fit, and I'm not saying necessarily using super complex technology. Sometimes just seeing a model, knowing their size and weight, and seeing how the garment fits on them gives you more answer than things that say it's 95% your size, or 72% M size or something. So it doesn't mean the solution is highly technological or very complex from a visual perspective. It could be powered by AI and other things. And but I think this is one thing we should solve. It sounds not too hard to solve, but people have been trying for a long time, and I think no one has done it. Even big companies are working on it still.
Okay. Catalina?
Yeah, for me, it's so hard to integrate technologies and systems. And I would love a world where that was easier. So if I was like watching a TikTok with like a really great recipe or some type of content, that it was easier just to like drop it immediately, like with a swipe into, my Wolt app to get it delivered in the next half an hour. In an
Okay.
easy way. Like right now, it's like so clunky, I'll say, to go from one experience to another. If you want to do something, it requires so many integrations that don't exist. So for me, that'd be fantastic that I was just like seeing a couple of recipes and then just throw them into my Wolt app and then get it delivered really quickly, or
Amazing.
be so good.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for this session. Was wonderful talking to you, and let's continue those conversations. I see we had some questions and comments. I encourage you to interact with the audience and answer. And having said that, I would like to invite everybody for our next discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.